Right, so it is day 40 of my New Year's resolution tree planting, 365 day whatever, challengey thing. So with that waffly way of putting it, should we get on with it? We're putting in 3 trees today, 3 fruit trees of 2 species. All of them are Asian, actually, so I'm going for African representation, mainland African representation with all the companion plants. So the first one going in is Lychee chinensis, which is just lychee, which is one of the ones from the same batch of seeds as the first lychee that went in. The rest of them seem to be doing pretty well, and this one is looking pretty hardy, even though it's getting a little bit more sun than I would have thought was ideal for it. And we've had such torrential rain today that I'm fairly sure this will be a good day for lychee's roots to first hit the actual soil. It's going in with a cornstalk Dracaena, so the Dracaena fragrans domesticated variety Massangenea, which is hopefully going to do alright here because we're a little bit sheltered. We've got an avocado tree and a trumpet tree and an acacia coming up, and behind us there's the bamboo, so it should keep the sun from being too intense, whereas the ones around the kapok I fully expect to get quite burned. This is a position where I think it should not take too much time to pick back up again. I'm also putting in an Aloe neriensis, which is the Kenyan fence aloe, well, I think it's the Kenyan fence aloe, and a pen wiper calico, which is one of the Central African calincos. So we're actually mainland for a change rather than Madagascan. Slightly less aggressively invasive than Madagascan, but hopefully, unlike a lot of Zambian calincos, not inclined to die as soon as it flowers. The second tree going in is one that's actually really good for companion planting with trees that want a little bit of shade but not too intense. It's not as good as the winterthorn because it does drop its leaves at the crucial time when trees do want sunlight, but it is notorious for being a tree which doesn't shade out things below it. So in plantations of it, people often have a lot of trouble with keeping grass and weeds down because it is so good at letting leaves through. It is a rainforest tree, but it's very deciduous. At least in Zambia, it's very deciduous. So this is Amla, which is the Indian gooseberry. And it is a Phyllanthus. I can't actually remember which Phyllanthus. There is another Phyllanthus actually growing in the same grove, which is one of the very common wild Phyllanthus. So it has an edible fruit, which is sometimes called Indian gooseberry. I do feel like that's probably slandering it, because even though I haven't tried it, I have tried English gooseberries, and they make everything else called gooseberry seem like it should be suing for libel. Anyway, in with the Amla, we're putting another of the same cornstalk Dracaena and an Aloe Cameroni, which should be slightly different flowering time to the neriensis, which beyond the fact that it'll start flowering now that it's been cut, and the dark spotted variant of the penwiper calico. And then we're putting in a second lychee with the same companion plants as the first. This is going to be a little bit more exposed, but hopefully with that little native Phyllanthus right there, it shouldn't get too hot where it is. Right, so that should be everything for today. Tune in tomorrow. I have a hypothetical plan. We'll see if it ends up being what we execute.